All right, so one of the highlights for the first half of this last game today was the Chuck Sizzle punt return for a touchdown. I want to go ahead and break this down today and talk about it because it was actually a really good highlight. And I love to see Chuck Sizzle making plays like this, especially because he's a fourth round pick, And how do you make the team? How do you continue to stay on the team? You do plays like this. There's a reason why the Bengals went ahead and got rid of Stanley Morgan, got rid of Trent Taylor, got rid of all these other guys that, Michael Thomas, who had been on our special team unit for so freaking long, and Chuck Sizzle replaced them all. He also replaced, what's his name? Travion Williams as the punt returner, and this is the reason why. So, this was actually our first scoring touchdown of the game and / season, which is still crazy to say this. Shout out to Ravens. You beat us today. I know this is not about you. This is about us on this play, so just calm down, Ravens fans. Second quarter, 13:25 to go. It's 4th and 5. Chuck catches the ball at the 20, around the 19-yard line, right? And I'm going to play this fully, just kind of play it through here. Just take a look at his play. And then we're going to talk about it, okay? So, Chuck Sizzle, who we already knew was fast as anything, outruns the whole entire punt return play and gets a touchdown. So let's talk about the first miss right here, right? So obviously on this missing right here, good block. Looks like 16 is going to get him. Nothing crazy there. He outruns him, okay. That's a miss right there. Okay, looks like maybe, we could see a block or a possible miss right here. So this again. Okay, gets past him. And then he's just in open field. And then, of course, the punter, which, let's be honest, I know people trash punters all the time. Oh, how did you miss that play? How did you miss that tackle? They're a punter, okay? Unless it's Pat McAfee, who lit up Trenton Holiday in a game versus the Broncos, there's not many times that a punter is going to stop a punt return, or a kick return if you're the kicker, right? It's not many times it's going to happen. It happens. There's times that it happens. Don't get me wrong. There are times that happens. But it's very rare in between. If you go back to the Steelers, Browns, a couple years ago, where the Browns guy, Antonio Brown literally face stomped the Browns punter. Yeah, that's usually how that ends up going. Where, not like curve stomping his face, but usually the guy gets past him. So, I'm not ever going to trash the punter for not making the tackle. The punter usually is not the most athletically gifted player on the field, and the punt returner usually is. So, on this play, again, like I said, this is an all-around amazing play by Chuck Sizzle. And even in the end here, when you really break this down, this is what really opened up this game for us, right? If we don't have this play, we go into halftime here, down, was it 14 to, it would have been 14 to 3, I believe. Let me double check this. I believe it would have been like 14 to 3 going to halftime. No, it would have been 13 to 3 going to halftime. So this play was an absolute W play. This kept us in the game, right? Because, again, like I said, it's all about momentum factors, right? This touchdown kept it to a point where it was 13 to 10 going to halftime because of this touchdown. So, again, just absolutely probably biggest play of the day here, and especially how this first half went, because this first half was horrendous. Our offense couldn't move the ball. Our offense had, 42 yards passing in that first half. It was absolutely horrendous. This was our biggest play in the first half. And, when you see a rookie like this, when you see Chuck Sizzle do this type of play, it really makes you go, wow. Even though we started off 0-2, okay? Even though we lost to the Ravens, we lost to the Browns. It is what it is. We at least can take away that this is a really, really good draft class. We haven't seen Poison Ivy yet. He's been inactive every single game so far. But we have seen, out of this game, Chuck Sizzle been looking really good. Obviously, Yoshi looked good in the preseason. He hasn't really gotten many snaps in the regular season at all. We're going to see how many snaps he actually got in this game tomorrow. We'll find that out tomorrow because last week, surprisingly enough, I did not expect he got any snaps last week. But apparently he had 1 snap last week. So what I thought was amazing. Miles Murphy didn't do anything special in this game, or really anything at all. I really didn't see him at all that much this game. Neither did DJ Turner. He didn't do anything at all. I mean, he didn't get beat. What DJ Turner, I will say a lot of time when it comes to cornerback position, as long as you don't get beat, that's usually like you doing good, right? It's like offensive lineman. We don't call your name, you're doing good, right? And usually the only time you call an offensive lineman name is when they pancake someone. Only time you call a cornerback's name is when they get an interception or they mess up, right? So, call their name in a positive way. That's what I'm trying to say. But no, overall wise, and then Chase Brown had one rush today for like 6 yards. 3 yards, wasn't anything special there. Who else we got? Brad Robbins, he had 3 punts today, and all 3 were kind of mid. They weren't anything good or anything special. And yeah, so overall wise, this is still a really great draft class. And again, even one touchdown in a game like this, especially an AFC North battle. And by the way, when I first watched this game, I was screaming. If you were in the live stream, you know how mad I was. You see that right there? That's a flag. Yeah, when I saw this return at first, my live reaction when I saw this return was I was angry. I was like, are you kidding me? We get a return for a touchdown. We get a game-changing play here. And they're going to call it back because of like holding or illegal blocking it back or some bullcrap in this game. And then, surprisingly enough, I got to give them credit. They did pick up this flag and not call it. Because I would have probably screamed and jumped out my window if they would have called this flag. That's how ticked I would have been if they would have called this flag. But thankfully, they did. I guess they ended up picking it up because they did not end up calling it. It was so weird. Like, they didn't say anything for like 5 or 10 minutes. And then eventually it was just like, oh yeah, that's a touchdown. And it was like, wait, what about the flag? I mean, it clearly is a flag on the field. And it was like, no, we didn't call that. And I was like, okay, I bet. So they ended up picking it up. And this ended up standing, which is still freaking insanely crazy that we got this punt return. And again, Chuck Sizzle, I love it was also because it was Chuck Sizzle, man. Like, you have a guy who really throughout the training camp or preseason has been dealing with a hamstring injury. He has, not a hamstring injury, a shoulder injury. He hasn't been 100%. He's been trying his best, though, to make this team really take over for that slot role. You got Tyler Boyd, who's going to be going after this year, most likely. So you need a replacement. This is his replacement. And he's making plays like this, And he's scoring our first touchdown of the year. No matter what we do this year, right? We're not, at the end of this year, right? We're not going to remember many things this year, right? You never remember anything from the first season, from the beginning of the season, other than, maybe 3 interceptions last year versus the Steelers, a missed extra point, a couple things, right? You don't remember too much, especially this year when we go win the Super Bowl. We're not going to remember how this year started. One thing we will remember, Chuck Sizzle having a punt return, having the first touchdown of the season. I don't think anyone's going to walk away from this game and be like, wow, that was nothing. That is absolutely massive. So, GG to that. Love Chuck Sizzle, and it is what it is. Next week we'll play the Titans, and we'll on to the Titans.